Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the CritCast, presented to you by critdamage.tv. My name is Nick Getley, aka DuberTV, and I'm joined by the wonderful, the fantastic Hope Corrigan, aka Museshake.
Hello.
And we might as well get straight into it and talk about some news. Now, the massive shake-up here in the Australian gaming industry is that Bajo is actually leaving Good Game to pursue full-time Twitch streaming. Hope, what do you think about
Yeah.
that?
Look, I mean, he's obviously following his heart. If you've been doing something for like 10 years or however long, like probably longer now, good game with Bajo at least, um, you probably do want to do something different. Like that's totally understandable that maybe you want to not be the person on the good game anymore. And
Um, yeah, no, I was going to say that's fair. It's always good to do a bit of a variety within the Australian gaming industry as well and try something a bit different. And he does seem to have a knack for that kind of spontaneity that a good Twitch streamer has.
yeah, he's naturally a very hyperactive person. I've met him a couple of times. And he's just kind of like that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. We played Battlefield Hardline, and he was jumping up and down in his chair. He was that
yeah.
excited about running over police.
So I think his nature probably lends really well to Twitch. I think like yeah, I think it's probably a really good move for him. I mean, I hope it is. I wouldn't say he'd be doing it because it's a bad move,
I think
right?
so. I think there's a really positive upside to this as well. Is that, well, one, some lucky person now gets to work for Good Game because the position is now being advertised. So
Yeah.
could be Hope, could be me, could be half Hope and half me, could be Huber. You don't know. Um, but the other side as well is that Barjo's going to help bridge the gap here, and if he can be a Twitch streamer that also has a background in journalism and TV presentations, that probably is going to open up opportunities in the Australian gaming industry for a lot of Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is though, he's very fortunate in the sense that he's able to go from having a massive TV following to Twitch streaming and just be able to make it that job straight away because, he was on TV, whereas most people don't have that.
Yep, that's true. But it'll be interesting to see the type of content he ends up settling on. If he chooses to, you know what, I really do miss talking about games. I want to do a review stream, or if he just wants to keep the kind of the cooking streams and the lighthearted stuff he's been doing. Which yeah, either way, I think it's really good and it's really interesting. And I don't know anyone who's applied for the position yet, so I couldn't give us any hints. I think everyone's kind of keeping their cards to their chest here and being like, "Ooh,
There's a lot of
it's gonna
like
be
really
me."
subtweety stuff where people like are kind of talking about um like big job opportunities or like do I want to move to Sydney and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about there, buddy. Like
Yeah, yeah. Um,
um
you say yes,
I
and then you
mean,
figure out the how later. Like, my advice to
yeah.
anyone who's interested is just apply. And if they go, "How am I going to do this?" How am I gonna... Like, I live in Newcastle, 2 hours north of Sydney. I'm I know that Disney XD's game show that they have um, Emma Exie hosting, that it was just one day of filming here and there. It's just a big solid day. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to commute once, twice a week, whatever I have to do to film a TV show. And then, yeah, continue on my merry little life of not presenting a TV show.
The other thing is though, like a lot of the game shows will have people using their facilities and they're capturing stuff to make a lot of the content as well, like to play the games. So it may not just be the filming that you might need to be in the studio for. It could be all sorts of other things that you might need to be in the studio for.
That's true. That's true.
Um,
I guess my show reel better have my editing skills in there then.
yeah, right. So like, I mean, I know you and I both said that we're going to apply, and we're personally hoping that they'll just split the job between us.
Yes.
Um, but and I live in Melbourne, so I would have to work that out somehow as well. But it is the kind of thing where you just kind of apply, and then if on the off chance they do say yes, then you work it out, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you were close to relocating to the States for a bit there.
Yeah,
So
I applied for the Nintendo editor role for IGN and I got into the final interviews and that was crazy.
that's amazing.
I get the job in the end. They've only just actually put someone in the role, so that's kind of good and also kind of heartbreaking. um, but at the time, but it's a weird thing to me. Moving to America seemed easier in some ways than moving to Sydney.
Um, yeah, I'd say that's fair. Do Americans still love Australians? Because that would make such a difference. Like if I went somewhere and they're like, "Oh, you're Australian," like, and they treated me nicely, that would
Yeah,
make a massive difference.
I'll take it.
Yeah, as
I think
opposed
it
to
depends on where
Australians
you
who,
go. Like, apparently, Florida is so used to tourism because they've got Disneyland and stuff that they don't give a shit.
yes,
But like San Fran, which is where I was potentially going to be, um, totally different story. Oh yeah, they'll think everyone thinks I'm English though, so
I
that's
don't
just
know
my
why
life.
people think I'm English every time they meet me. It's just,
I don't know why people think I'm English every time they meet me.
it's brilliant. Um, Now I'm starting to regret with this TV position if they said, "Do you have any experience?" All I can say is, "Well, I've been on the news before," and
No.
I really wish that I took the. I was offered minor, very minor roles as an extra in movies. Like there was a Jackie Chan movie filming in Sydney, and I could have been in that. Um, I wanted to put my hand up to get kicked in the face because I think that would be amazing. But
I
I
would
was
get
nearly in the second Narnia movie as well.
so you're the guy that was nearly in all the
Yeah,
movies.
I could have been a somebody. I could have been a big name, falling downstairs and like
Well,
guy that gets
the
his
good
head
news
blown off.
is Lord Vlad says he's American and he loves us. So
Cool, cool,
I'm not
awesome.
good at making a heart with my hands. I don't think my hands are made for it. There we go.
That's good.
Kind of.
That was way better than what my fat hands could produce.
A fat heart to love everybody.
And but imagine if I did become an extra, because I'd be, and then if I was on TV, they'd be like, "Hey, look, there's that guy from Good Game, like getting kicked in the face by Jackie Chan in that one
That would be an
movie."
amazing thing to call back to. I think
Such
you
a
missed an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing more. There was voice acting gigs that I was really close to getting stuff as well, but they wanted someone to be a bit more kind of gritty, and that
Oh,
apparently I wasn't quite there.
oh, right. You're not gritty enough.
And I recorded the lines "Yes, Captain" about 50 times before I was like, how many more times can I say this? Like I started getting really weird and sounding like Jeff Goldblum, not really the. They wanted basically Australian Statham, if that's a thing.
I think that's the thing with voice acting is people don't realize how many times you say the same thing over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
didn't Will Wheaton say he once did the same line for like 6 hours?
Yeah, and I yeah, people don't realize how hard they work. Like it's not just going up there and reading some lines. It's yeah.
Yeah, a lot goes into it. So, yeah, to sum it up there, Bajo is a happy Twitch streamer now, and anyone can really apply for this. You just need to put together a show reel or some review footage. Both Hope and I are going to put together something. We're hoping to kind of capture some of our witty banter on film. Um,
Because I'm so smart.
yeah, we'll come up with something creative. Now, Hope, you can lead the second bit of news that we're
Oh,
going to talk
okay.
about.
So EA buddies, they closed Visceral, which are known for Dead Space, and they're working on a Star Wars game. And a week later, pretty much, they buy Respawn, which is Titanfall. I mean, they were working with Respawn before on some things anyway, but that's a bit of a kick in the teeth for Visceral.
Yeah, Visceral. I can't. I haven't played Dead Space 3, but Dead Space 1 and 2, as well as the other Visceral games I've played, I absolutely loved. I don't know too much about the sales figures, but surely this is a studio that could still be operational.
Yeah, it's they've moved the production of things to other studios that were already working on them a little bit, and then also some new studios, or not new as in new to the production that they were working on. So they've basically closed them and stole whatever they were working on and dispersed that amongst their other stuff. And I did see a lot of tweets going out saying, they welcome people who worked at Visceral to apply
Hmm.
for like other things, and everyone's. So I think Visceral's dead. I think it's dead.
Yeah, pretty much. If this was a movie, this would have been those creative differences moments that forces a director out, but he's taken his whole production company with him. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think the thing with EA is they probably own all the IPs that Visceral
Mm-hmm.
was working on. So
100%.
yeah, that it's not like they can just stay together and keep working on a game. They have to. Yeah, but the good news is, good news is that the Star Wars game is still being worked on, but we'll see.
Yeah, so this is really funny and weird and coincidental that I actually saw some of the I read some of what they were trying to do with it, and I was like, this sounds not at all like it's going to be completely churned out and like beat up and pretty much turned into a money making machine. It sounds like it's going to have a really good story from the writer of the Uncharted series, um,
Yeah,
who she's also, I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry, but she's also I'm sorry, I'm not an Uncharted guy, but she's no longer involved with the project either. So it's pretty much like
Amy Hennig.
that. Yep, thank you very much. So
Cool.
she is no
I
longer
googled
attached to the
it, like
project.
full honesty, but I didn't
No,
want to
that's
talk about it and not mention it.
I feel bad because she does amazing work and some of the best narrative work we've got in games. But yeah, so she's no longer attached to it either. It sounded like it was going to be linear, but a hell of a game, kind of like
I
Uncharted. Like
feel
you
like
would,
EA were like, this isn't, full of microtransactions.
well,
We'll just disband the studio.
what I heard was that they were going to pad it out a bit more. So they were changing it to an open world experience. So I basically thought they're going to want to go the Assassin's Creed route, but in Star Wars. So it sounds like that's what they're actually doing
To
now.
be totally honest, I would love that. So that's fine.
If it works out well, it works out well. Like I'm not one of those people that poo-poos an entire company because of decisions made in the past by very few, people that work there.
No, I agree. I still like some of the things EA do a lot. But I'm just not sure about this. It feels weird, especially closing Visceral, and then they bought Respawn. Apparently, the total figure is about $455 million that they're buying Respawn for.
Wow.
Paying 151 million upfront, and the rest is gonna come in like long-term equity and things like that. Um, and the cool thing about that is it means that they've confirmed that there'll be a new Titanfall game, and the last Titanfall game was seriously underrated. So that's nice.
Yeah, just a bitch of a release date. Wasn't it a month before Battlefield 1?
It also had like no marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not a bad game in the slightest at all. Apparently, as well, people were
It's
surprised
got
by
a
how good the
really
campaign
stellar
was.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm yet to check it out personally, but I mean, it's going. I think I saw it for $30 brand
It's
new
got
the other
this
day.
really cool level where everything starts out. Oh, it's gonna sound weird to explain. Everything starts out on the ground, um, as
Hmm.
it does,
Yeah.
and there are like houses and buildings and stuff. And then something happens. I can't remember what. There's something in the computer and whatnot, and it all just becomes vertical instead. So then you're walking on houses that are essentially, think of the ground is now a wall, but the houses are
So
still on it. So you're walking on the side of the walls of houses and stuff.
that has been like those kind of perspective shifts have been some of my favorite parts in video games. So the ending of Mass Effect 1,
Yes, yeah.
and it was just an incredible image. And then to a lesser extent, but more my childhood in a box was at the ending of or well, towards the end of the Ghostbusters video game. You fall off the side of the building, but everyone grabs you, and they're holding onto you by your belt, and you're hanging precariously, and you're facing basically the Marshmallow Man's mouth, and you're shooting straight into it, hanging off the side of a building. And that was really, really cool too, just like looking straight down.
So like Titanfall, yeah, Titanfall did a lot of cool things. Every level kind of was like, here's a new thing, and it was nice. It was quite refreshing. Um, and I'm looking forward to another one
Yeah,
that hopefully, and I mean, like, yeah, Lord Blad saying in the comments that with this kind of money behind it, there'll be games for years, and I agree, and I think that they're obviously willing to invest in what Respawn can do, which is it really does feel like a kick in the teeth for Visceral. They're like, we can't afford you guys anymore. Get out of here. Here's a fuck ton of money, Respawn.
I guess it comes down to how games performed. If Visceral Games weren't performing up to snuff or whatever they wanted, I mean, it's one of those what's best for the company, unfortunately, kind of moments. And the way Vince was talking about this deal being purchased, it sounds like what he was doing just in terms of making the company last, which I think is actually quite a good reason. It didn't sound like he just wants a fucking quick payday or anything like that. It just, yeah. So to avoid a situation like this in the future, I don't know, maybe there's more going on behind. Obviously, there's more going on behind the scenes, but maybe it's the smart decision to make right now, and maybe we're all going to benefit from it too. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I
more
mean,
Titanfall's good.
Respawn are also working on a new third-person Star Wars game, which could
Yes,
be. I don't know if that's different to what Visceral. Like, it's obviously different to what Visceral were working on,
yes.
but I'm not sure if they're going to become the same thing or. Yeah.
I'm not.
So, what's a Star Wars?
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a VR title in the mix too, but this kind of thing happened with people were freaking out that Neversoft was becoming part of Activision, and it blended in really nicely. They ended up handling a lot of Call of Duty content. So they were making Call of Duties as well as some of the parts of Deadpool, and then assisting with other games. So they're kind of like a smaller studio that can take the load off a massive game from another studio and then publish their own smaller ones as well. So Respawn could get shuffled around and become like one of the heavy hitters, or they might just be doing their best work across multiple games and not always making a full complete game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up going.
Hopefully, it's a good thing. The other thing in game studio type news is a Harry Potter studio has been started at Warner Brothers called Portkey Games. They're just gonna make Harry Potter games. Like, yeah,
It look,
Harry Potter everywhere.
Harry Potter is some people's Star Wars, and I only
Yeah.
got that when I was last working in retail. I managed a shoe store, and we got these limited edition Chuck Taylors in that were the different houses at help me out Hogwarts. So because I haven't seen a red one. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there now.
Oh wow, you haven't even dipped your toes in.
I will. I've made the promise. My brother dropped off every Blu-ray and said, "Just goddamn do it." So I will do it. But yeah, I was working at this shoe store, and then I asked this little girl, I was like, "What's your favorite house?" And she's like, "Oh, it's Gryffindor. What about yourself?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And then she's like, "No, really, what?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't seen or read a single Harry Potter." So, and then like deliberately to freak this little girl out, I was like, "So I couldn't tell you what like a golden snatch is or a humble puff." And she's just like, "No, no." And then the next moment was so weird. I've never seen perfect strangers unify so quickly, but she then leans over, tying up her shoelaces, and says, "Mom, the man hasn't read or seen Harry Potter." And then she comes around the corner and goes, "You haven't read or seen a single Harry Potter?" And I went, "No." And then some other guy, not with them at all, tying shoes up across the store, just leans in and goes, "This guy hasn't seen or read Harry Potter." And I went, "No." And he goes, "Ha!" And then goes back to tying up his shoelaces. So yeah, I've
um,
realized it is a massive
I'm
phenomenon.
a big Harry Potter nerd. I was also the right age, I guess, when they started kind of like the books were coming out and everything like that. It probably is my Star Wars in a way. I still like Star Wars a lot, but Harry Potter I connected with a lot more as a kid than I did with Star Wars. Star Wars has kind of been a later thing that I've enjoyed. Um, and I would love good Harry Potter games, but I don't know if I want them to be like I played the games that released back in the day that were like the movie games,
Yeah,
and they were
Cinebase's
always
talking
like
about them in the comments that they were apparently a bit goofy. Was there? And now you played these. Was there like some sort of dwarf tossing or like goblin tossing
yes, there
or
was gnome tossing.
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, something that really annoyed me, and I'll tell you this, is the so remember the Harry Potter the Chamber of Secrets, so the second movie and book. The game for that one came out across PlayStation 1 and Xbox and PlayStation 2. So it was like a cross-generation game.
Yes.
And the place my friends had the PlayStation 1 and I had the Xbox. And so we both had a go. And in the PlayStation 1 game, you got to drive the flying car. And like, it was this on rails sort of section where you were running away from the train and you had to not hit barriers because that would slow you down. The train would catch up to you. So it was that kind
Yep.
of thing.
That's cool.
And it was really, really fun. It was really hard and intense, but it was fun. Um, and they did not have that at all in the Xbox version. Like, you could not fly the
Mm.
car. And I was like, I have the superior console, but I have the lesser game, and I was mad. But the Quidditch in the Harry Potter games was always really, really fun. But the Quidditch only game I didn't like that much because well, that Lord Vlad's talking about because
Ah.
that was more like a FIFA sort of thing.
Oh wow.
Like not as intense and stuff, but it was it was more like you controlled the whole team. I think.
Okay.
Whereas like Quidditch in the main game, you were always playing as Harry Potter in the main game, so you got to be the seeker. So you were just like trying to catch the snitch, and that's more fun.
A VR Quidditch game would be pretty cool now, but it's probably
I
too
think it would
fast.
make you sick as
Yeah,
fuck.
it's too fast. Whereas, like, I don't know, I played the Star Wars experience and everything was much, much slower than in a movie, but it was okay. You could look around and see who was behind you and you didn't get sick from it. Whereas if they made it as fast as real Star Wars, you'd probably be sick. And I think
See,
you can't compromise Quidditch like that from what I've seen.
yeah, I think that takes away the fun of Quidditch. Like Quidditch is meant to be very fast, and I think that's where it gets a lot of the fun from. I would much rather don't even mention FIFA on the Switch, buddy. Just sit down. Um, if they're gonna make Harry Potter games, I would rather they maybe weren't Hogwarts games. Like I would rather have a game of like auras, which are like the police, I guess.
Yeah,
So
so
like you're a wizard,
exploring Potterdom.
but like yeah, you're like hunting down bad guys and stuff like that. And I think that could be a lot more fun. Or they could do something from like the new movie, The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Like that kind of stuff is a lot more interesting to me. I just don't think setting it in a school, like the Harry Potter world, is so much bigger than Hogwarts, and I think Hogwarts is a little bit done
Yep. No, I think
and
I
very
think that's fair.
limiting as well. Unless they made like a bully game, but in Hogwarts, that could be cool.
Has to be Rockstar though. And
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, that would be good because I didn't really enjoy Bully as much as everyone else did when it came out. I can see why people did, but if you Hogwartsed it up, that'd be interesting. I think too, with Harry Potter is like when you say it's there's so much more to it. I feel that with Star Wars too. That like I can't believe we're still stuck on the Skywalkers. And
I
with a Harry Potter
really
game, I'd like to make my own student or my own person and experience something that hasn't been done in the books or the movies.
see me with Star Wars, and this is such an unpopular opinion, but I don't really like the stories, but I really like the world.
I would agree because I'm more into the Knights of the Old Republic kind of. It was a bit more mature, expanded the universe. It was yeah, it was a much better experience I found. Whereas
See, that's much more the kind of thing I'd be looking for, and the same sort of thing in a Harry Potter game. Like definitely something a bit more open world, and it just doesn't need to be so locked in.
the
Um,
Star Wars
but
movies, sorry to interrupt, but just like
no,
there's not one problem in the Star Wars movies that couldn't be solved with a therapist or a family like a group therapy session. Like it's just so much of it is I hate my
or just
dad.
some
Well,
good
he hated his
conversation.
dad. Like it's just do something about it. Write down your feelings before you pick up a light sword and chop someone in half.
Yeah, look, no, nobody really. They all just need a hug,
Yeah, yeah,
big hug.
yeah.
Speaking of the open world thing, though, the other Harry Potter news is that Niantic, the Pokemon Go developers, are working on a Harry Potter game as well.
Wizards unite.
So I love Pokemon and I really love Harry Potter, and I don't think my phone battery can handle two.
Yeah, actually, that's a really, really good point. Animal Crossing has to step up because if I get into Potter fever a bit, 2 years too late or whatever, which it probably is never too late to get into Harry Potter, but
You kind of gotta, if you do like, and you are going to watch them,
I will.
you have to like just be ready. The books obviously are able to go into a lot more depth, so these are kind of like trimming off the top of the books and making it into like a cinematic experience.
Yep.
But they're also aimed at the age group that was reading them at the time. So there's that acceptance that this is for a child.
Yeah.
And then as they get a little bit, they get a bit darker as you get a bit older and stuff, which is cool. When you're growing up with it, it kind of helps you grow up. It grows up with
Yep.
you.
No, that's fair. I'll try. The first movie I have seen most of it, and I did struggle. It was just the names. It was just the silly names, which is fine because they're
Oh,
memorable.
bippity bop.
Yeah, yeah, and everyone was so excited to meet Harry Potter, and I'm like, I get it, he's the chosen one, blah blah blah. But kids haven't had that kind of hero's journey experience since like Star Wars and things like that. There's not really a lot of memorable movies that do it right. There's a lot of movies that do it shit. Um, like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, they were just like it was pretty much they were just plucked out of and
Or
just
like when they
became
tried to
random
make the
heroes.
Aragon movies, which is basically like medieval Star Wars. And I think they only ever made
Yeah,
one
I
because it
th-
just flopped so hard.
that was a scam. that was a full on scam because the kid who wrote it, everyone's like, oh, he's only 13. His parents owned a publishing company or like funded it or something ridiculous like that. So
Oh, and he basically just wrote Star Wars,
he did. He basically just wrote Star Wars. But
which is not a very good story to begin with. So
oh, well,
suck it, Lucas.
I don't know. Props to that kid because when I was 13, I was just playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater over and over and over again.
I wrote a novel when I was 13.
I wrote one in year 6 that got published.
I never sent it to anyone to publish because it's too embarrassing.
Yeah, I roll my eyes at my early video game writing, let alone wanting to dig up this book that I
Yeah.
wrote in year
No, the
6.
worst thing about mine is it was about vampires and it wasn't Twilighty at all, but like I just worried because it was 16-year-old me writing it.
Was it
I'm like,
miserable like an Anne Rice thing? Like, was it very Anne Rice?
no, it was modern day.
Hmm.
Like, I can't believe I'm even talking about this like it's a thing. I don't want people to know. Um, it was they had this like there was this thing and demons were able to like enter into the human physical world and Lucifer was trying to take over and it had a very sort of unwilling hero, anti-hero, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I guess I have to fix this because no one else knows how to do it and I don't really want to do it. So I don't know, like it wasn't super duper dark like
Yeah.
an Anne Rice. Like it wasn't a hopeless situation, but it just I don't know. It's probably just not very good.
I
It's probably why I can't explain
watching
it.
watching an interview with the vampire, which was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Watching it now, I've realized it's just like it's a guy on guy romance with vampirism thrown in the mix, and I never realized that. Like it is
It
very
so
very,
is.
it's very
It's
very
beautiful.
gay, and it's amazing. Like no, it is. It's amazing.
Man, other people wrote vampire novellas when they were kids. I'm so glad I'm not alone.
Awesome. I wrote vampire stuff, but the one that I worked on for ages was like a whingy emo version of Spawn was a comic book I was drawing, and it was miserable as crap, and it was just. But that's
Oh, I just realized the worst part about mine.
yeah.
Oh man, okay. So these demons were coming through the tears, right? And they had to close the tears. And the tears were caused by this like teardrop of blood, which was like so concentrated that it was
Someone
like
is going to steal this. This is
ripping
sounding
apart the
good.
fabric of the universe. So I called it tear of blood, but it could also be tear of blood because they're spelt the same.
Mm.
Oh,
What if you did fancy like I can't the letters that imply it's pronounced differently? You could like TAER it and then
I
make
just
it just
like
all vampiric.
want to go back in time and punch 13-year-old me in the gut so hard right now.
Yeah, I deserve to get mugged that time. I also drank coffee and like pretentiously reserved booths at my local cafe, so I was not a cool kid.
Oh man, that yeah. Look, we're just
Oh
gonna move on.
no,
Yeah,
no!
Niantic
I
commission
need to
Harry
admit
Potter.
something.
Okay.
I went to a slam poetry reading.
Was someone playing bongos?
No, but there was a naked woman who was part of an art installation, and I was 13. I'm like, why is it just a random naked woman with a sign around her?
Oh man, I was part of an art installation once, but I wasn't naked.
Um, I just
That's
did dumb.
beautiful, Nick.
Thank you, thank you. I feel
Um,
heaps better now.
I I went to art TAFE though, so like I'm allowed.
I did some art at uni, and my lecturer dated Andy Warhol briefly, and she just had,
Oh,
and we just kept asking for more stories about it.
Andy Warhol wasn't straight at all, so she got
Full of shit.
yeah. Well, I don't know if she was full of shit, but if she dated him, then I think they were just friends, probably.
Probably he did have a big mean entourage, but yeah. Back to sorry, we got very
Yeah.
derailed. Back to Niantic making a Harry Potter game, so it's pretty much like we're assuming like Pokemon Go, but Harry Potter. But
They've kind of said that it is going to be that.
it's got a bit.
Um,
It's got it. Has it got a bit more money being invested in it? Coming from Warner Brothers.
I don't think so. Like, Warner Brothers don't have more money than Pokemon Company.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just
What up, Hyper?
do you
Um,
feel that Pokemon Go is perfectly playable and enjoyable and fantastic now? Or do you feel that it's going to be a bumpy ride if they're making a Harry Potter game, or do you think things will go smoother?
um, this is Phew, that's a really tough question.
Yeah, I've
I
been thinking
think
about it
that
the whole time since you
people that
told
are
me.
still playing Pokemon Go are probably hardcore enough to stick with it. So I don't think a Harry Potter game is gonna affect it too much because I think you're gonna get a different audience on that one. It's gonna do the same thing where it has this massive sort of boom when it first comes out and then peters off.
Yeah.
I don't think Harry Potter is as big as Pokemon. So I don't know if it's gonna survive
These are
like globally.
games that succeed and flourish outside of traditional gaming though. So people were like playing because I organized Pokemon Go walks in Newcastle where I'm from, and we had 1,200 people on the first walk. We had to get the police to help. We had council permission and megaphones and all sorts of stuff. But people loved that they were playing the game they played when they were kids with their kids, and it was a completely different game. It wasn't really Pokemon, but it was something they could share. I think Harry Potter potentially because it's more recent and it's more in I'd say it's a bigger part of pop culture. It's more fresh in people's minds. I think Harry Potter could be bigger if it
The
starts to get
other
the following.
maybe I'm curious as to how they're gonna do it because Pokemon's kind of an obvious one
Mm-hmm.
in the sense catch Pokemon in the real world.
Yes.
They've talked about like learning spells and things,
Is there
but like,
anything
what
in
are you
Harry Potter
gonna
that could
do?
be like Pokemon? Are there little things? Do people collect anything? I mean,
I mean, they
thanks, Lord
collect
Vlad.
the chocolate frog cards.
That could be part of. So there's not like a pet thing. It's not like Warcraft where you can get a pet.
Like they have pets, but they don't really yeah, they don't really collect the pets.
Maybe you collect Harry Potter characters. Maybe you start recruiting
I
your
don't
own
think it's going to be
Hogwarts
collection. I
army.
think did you ever play Ingress?
Yes, briefly
I think it might be more like that, where like you have to do spells to a thing.
at landmarks type of thing.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think that's probably more the way they would have it working. Because Ingress, when you like Pokemon Go has the benefit of like walking around and you Pokemon might randomly appear. I loved Ingress. Whereas Ingress, the only thing you could really do was at the portals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Harry Potter might be a little bit more like that. Like,
Don't know.
I don't know, because what could randomly appear? Like,
Voldemort.
I mean, you could have it could be an enemies
Every
thing.
time it's
So
just Voldemort. Every
no,
time.
like it could be like you might get like shit like Dementors or trolls or gnomes and stuff that appear, and you have to fight them, and you
It
just
could
get
be.
XP.
It could be too. There could be random things like there's a unicorn and you have to defend it, or something like that, like offense and defense.
We're
I
such speculators.
We are, but this is all we've got. We don't even have a single screenshot. We've just the word Wizards Unite, like just the phrase Wizards Unite in Harry Potter font, which was enough to make me go, "That's interesting." So
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, we got nothing. What we do have is too many console revisions.
yes. This, and
So
I'm so glad there's some viewers here from the community. Take it away, Hope. Sorry,
no, you go, sir. You go.
it was my post, wasn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, hi, Crit Damage community. Thank you for being here because we're going to talk about kind of something we touched on in the group. Um, Console revisions and how many is too many, and I still stand by it. Like, I'm glad the Xbox One X is a thing, do not get me wrong, but I said when the Xbox One was first coming out, I was like, why don't they just make a more powerful version at the start? So you could have a version that plays 1080p gaming decently for kids because they're not going to want 4K. They're not, if they are, then get a job. But there should have been a higher tier of Xbox One at the start, and they both play the same games, but obviously your HDR and things like that are on your higher tier console. Now, a couple of years later, we've seen a post from, I believe it was from the Microsoft Store or someone like that on Facebook, and I screen capped it because I just had to talk about it. It said, "We're getting all nostalgic. 3 console revisions in 4 years. Look how far we've come." Console
I kind of
revisions.
feel like consoles are becoming more like PCs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are physically. I mean, Xbox has always basically been a PC in a box, but now PlayStation is also a PC in a box.
Yes.
Um, and maybe instead of definite generations, this is kind of what we're going to see now.
Yeah, so I guess
I mean,
it'll fall under the umbrella of this is the Xbox And then
It
these
has
are
to
the
be able to play those games.
yes,
Like because games, the whole point in having a console and why I was such a console fan for a long time is that you own that console, it plays those games.
yes,
And that's kind of what console architecture needs to do. Now, the way they're getting around that is they're still releasing the same game, but having a massive download for people who've got the Xbox One X. So you're a little bit boned if you don't have good internet and you got one. So's those
yeah.
guys.
I'm out of touch at times with just the general consumer and things like that because I'm lucky to have like one of the 12 houses in Australia that has good internet.
And me.
I have a connection of like 90 down,
Actually,
40 up NBN.
like you, Hyper, and I all have fantastic NBN of like 40 up and 100 down, and I've got an unlimited plan. I don't know about you guys. So for me, internet just doesn't matter. Like it's fine. I'll just download everything.
Yeah, pretty much. But then again, you are John Howard's niece and I'm Malcolm Turnbull's nephew. Not that it has anything to do
Why
with
did you
it.
have so dirty right now?
We're not really.
Um,
We're not really.
what
But
I have more concern about is not the internet downloading; it's storage.
yes. Yeah, no,
That's where shit gets hard.
I have a 3 terabyte hard drive attached to my Xbox One, and I have a 2 terabyte attached to my PlayStation. And even now, my PlayStation, I'm like weighing up what I'm playing, especially because I receive a lot of VR games. And they're not too big, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. Storage is becoming a big problem, especially for, I don't know. There's limited USBs as well on these things. Like, can't we have a couple
Yeah,
more
it's just
USBs?
and like they don't come with large enough internal drives.
Hmm.
So I don't think having all these revisions so soon. Look, it's cool in the sense that it's optional. Like I've looked at it and I've still got the original Xbox One. And I didn't get an S because I don't really care about it being smaller and quieter.
Yes.
I didn't get an X because I don't really want to spend $600 to have a better looking console, even though I have a 4K TV.
Yeah.
So I would definitely notice it. But for me, it's not worth it, especially because I've been doing a lot of PC gaming lately. I just spent a lot of money on a PC. But it's nice for people who want to have the option.
Yeah. No,
And yet
absolutely.
all of those people can still play the same games. But it feels like, honestly, like, I think the hardest thing for me is that it's not releasing the most powerful console ever or whatever Microsoft want to call it. It's not fixing their problem, which is that they're not having enough exclusive games that people want to play.
Yeah, now apparently I went to N4G, which I'm assuming is just news for gamers or whatever. There was an article saying that Phil Spencer is going to be talking about the future of first party gaming and how he's hoping to really improve it on the Xbox One X.
What I don't understand though is why you would launch that console and not have anything to launch it with.
I think again because they want to emphasize that this is not a sequel to their current console, that this is
That's fair.
yeah, which is interesting, but then again I don't know, there's not really just a title that everything worth playing on it now has just been released and gotten an upgrade. Even Assassin's Creed Origins, sorry. Whew, got that out there. Even Assassin's Creed, the new one,
Is stunning, by the way.
I haven't touched it yet, but I will. I do have it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, even it came out at launch. It's like, here you go, but here's your update as well. So nothing was made specifically for the
The
Xbox
thing
One
that
X to take advantage
concerns me
of.
about this kind of stuff is, I mean, to be fair, they did tease Project Scorpio, long before they ever released it. But it just makes me wonder if there's going to be something next.
I was about to say that because it's like this is a good console. It's impressive and it's obviously the best Xbox and arguably the best console to have in terms of performance and power and looks and that. But if another one comes out in another year or two, or let's say like 3 years or whatever, is gaming going to be advanced enough? Are people going to be pissed off that they just bought this thing? Because a lot of Australian consumers are, if it ain't broke, I'm not fixing it. Which is why the Wii U had poor sales in Australia because people like already have a Wii, and they didn't know that the Wii U was a completely new console.
And the cool thing about that is Nintendo learnt hard from that mistake and marketed the Switch very well, explaining what it is, gave it a new name and everything, and that's part of why it's doing so well. And they've even said that they learned from the failure of the Wii U and how consumers didn't really know that it was a new console. So that's really good.
Yeah.
But that makes you wonder, like, when a new Xbox comes out, how are they going to make sure we know it's a new console if it is? It's just, I think we're seeing the console world change a lot, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. There was a time when I was a kid where you got magazines to tell you about what new games were coming out, and the internet, like everything is changing rapidly because the internet's changing everything rapidly. But you could pick up a Mega Drive game or a Super Nintendo game a year or 2 years after it came out because it was the same hardware, there wasn't an upgrade, and PC was still growing. It's not like you were bummed to be playing Super Metroid in 1995 or 6, you know, when it came out in 94 or whenever. So now, though...
now a lot of it's about being a part of the conversation. Like,
absolutely.
You don't play that game, then you don't get to talk about it.
No, yeah, but then I feel that online communities suffer for that because, let's just say you wanted to play Call of Duty Black Ops 3 because it was the last really, really good one before World War II. There's might not be anywhere near as many players or just hackers left. So yeah, that's a problem.
The PSP was, sorry, Lord Blaz just mentioned the PSP. The PSP was huge in Japan and other countries. Wasn't so big here.
I have a PSP still. And I love my PSP. I don't play anywhere near enough of it as I should. I have Final Fantasy Tactics on it. See, I'm a little bit jealous of that. I don't want to go out and get one, but
it's a really nice console. One. It's just there was nothing to play on it.
I got so I don't know if we talked about this. I got so excited for this PS Vita game. Yeah, I did. I talked about it last week. It was a pirate game, but when you beat each other, it looked like these massive epic naval battles, and then when you beat each other, you used the back of the console to flick pirate boobies.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What have you been playing, Nick?
I haven't been playing a lot lately. Or rather, I've been playing a lot of little games here or there. I've been purchasing something on Steam and then just not really getting into it. And I thought I was getting burnt out, but The Evil Within 2, I finally finished that. The review's going up. I really wanted to give it a good, thorough look at it, and it's just kind of drained me a bit. But I jumped back on PUBG briefly. Again, got my ass kicked again and again and again. I did something really, really cool, though. I have been playing with something, but I'm not allowed to talk about it just yet. I can't tell you the specifics, but it is related to... I attended the first ever drone battle championship in Australia.
You did tell us about this.
And I won it.
You won?
Not joking.
Holy crap.
Yeah, like won it. So the world's biggest drone manufacturer was in Sydney. I can't tell you too much about the things we used.
You know in Animal Crossing where you catch like a fish and you're near another person and they clap? That's me right now.
That's what you did in Animal Crossing earlier. I caught a pale chub and you were like, good job. Good job, buddy.
If I had a dick, it would be called a pale chub. Anyway, continue.
But, yeah, so I won the first drone battle championship in Australia, which was presented by Propel, the world's largest drone manufacturer. Can't talk too much about what we did use, but I can say that they're really freaking cool, and that I've got some and that we can talk about it more
so
this
did
week.
Winning get you one of these mysterious things?
It got me a really cool version of one of these mysterious things, but the other mysterious things will be available soon to everyone. And like, I went from never touching a drone to learning how to fly one in this virtual app. So it's like, this is how a drone handles, and it was very, very realistic and very identical to the actual drone that I used. To now I'm a full-blown drone addict. Like, I'm stoked.
So impressed right now. Like, I've just been making my impressed face for many minutes.
I wasn't prepared. Bessie J,
so cool.
Bessie J was there with me, and she's like, "Get up there and enter the tournament. Anyone can win." I'm like, "I won't win." And by the end of it, I was chasing other people. My drone was right behind theirs and locking onto them. And it uses a mobile app, but you can plug your headphones into your phone. and then listen to different soundtracks and pick a pilot and they talk, and it just adds so much immersion to drone
Oh,
battling.
this sounds so cool.
It is freaking cool. So I have
Man.
been playing Evil Within, but I've also been playing with a thing, a type of drone that I can't talk too much about, but very, very soon.
Oh, I'm
But
gonna
yeah.
make you tell me stuff later. I'm gonna make you.
But yeah, what about yourself? What have you been playing?
I finally started Assassin's Creed Origins.
Mm.
It is so beautiful.
So
Like,
franchise saved.
mm, 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 mm. Um, I just mean like aesthetically.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yes, but it is fun as well. It's got very different combat in it to most Assassin's Creed games. So it's kind of I heard someone else describe it as almost Dark Soulsy combat. I haven't played Dark Souls, so I can't make that comparison.
I heard
Um,
the developers say that they took
okay,
inspiration from that, so it has to be a thing
yeah,
then.
yeah, cool. And it's also got a lot more RPG elements. So along with having like usually Assassin's Creed sort of has gear unlocks instead. So the more gear, different gears that you get, that's how you sort of level up, I guess. Whereas this time you're actually leveling up abilities and other aspects, as well as still leveling up your gear through crafting and things like that. But I think the best thing about it is so far that it's just set in like ancient Egypt and it's beautiful. Like even when you're just, it's got this really cool thing where whenever you travel, you can just set your mount to follow the road, and which is cool. But what's extra cool is then after you do that, there's another button prompt that says, "Do you want your mount just to head to the waypoint that you've selected?" So you can make a custom one, or it can be your next mission in game, whatever you've got, and you can say yes. So your mount will just you'll just ride there, which means you don't have to concentrate on sort of getting there. You can move your camera around. There's this cool thing where you basically take over your eagle and you're in the air and you can watch yourself ride there, or you can go scout some other things while you're on the way.
That's cool.
And this lets you fully take in how beautiful the world is. Whereas normally if you're so focused on the like moving your character and things like that the whole time, you don't get as much opportunity to sort of take a step back and look at the world. But Assassin's Creed gives you every opportunity to do that,
Yeah,
which is
wow. And
yeah.
have you played around with, apparently there's a non-combat mode where you can just drink in as much Egypt as you can handle?
I haven't looked at that yet because I'm very excited to actually play it,
Yep.
which sounds a bit wanky actually. Um, I haven't gone into that yet. So far, the other thing that I've noticed is there's a lot less of the typical Assassin's Creed. I did not tell you to do that, assassin.
Good.
Yeah, a lot less of that, which is really, really nice. But as cool as it is that they've changed up the combat, I'm playing it on PC but with a controller because to me, Assassin's Creed will always be a controller game.
Yeah.
Um, and I find it really bizarre that the controls, like your attack, is the bumper,
Yeah,
and
that's Dark Souls.
your dodge is X,
That's not Dark Souls.
and then you've got
Yeah,
like a heavy attack on the trigger.
that's Dark Soulsy. Yeah.
So for me, that's taking some getting used to, but that's just because I'm so used to other Assassin's Creed games. Like, I don't think that's a negative for the game at all. I've not played enough to be able to tell you overall if it's a good or a bad game, but it so far it feels good. I think it's a good Assassin's Creed. Everybody, I think it's back. I think them taking 2 years to work on beautiful Egypt was a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly sounds though taking a bigger departure from what people are expecting is going to be a good thing, because Call of Duty, they're kind of like, we're back, and nothing's really changed. It's just a venue change, which Assassin's Creed, everyone is kind of adjusting to how different it is, and I think that's actually the best way to do it. Like, don't no half measures. Just, if you need to shake things up and you need to take inspiration from other people and really just kind of go, right, how can we update this?
I think the other thing is also it releasing so close to Shadow of War, which is quite Assassin's Creedy in some of its mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
If it was too similar, I would have been super burnt out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it's not a fair. It's not fair in some ways, but no game exists in a vacuum. So it's not necessarily fair to say that that would be a bad aspect of the game, but it's making it extra refreshing that it's not like that.
No, that's definitely a good thing. That's well put. I'll have to check out Origins myself. So the name
The other,
Origins, is it?
yes.
Are we going to like way back before everything started? Before Desmond? Before?
So there are still real modern day portions,
Hmm.
but I haven't done many of them. So, and it's not Desmond, it's some other lady, and I don't really know much about what's happening in the modern day world at this point, so I can't answer that. And it would probably be pretty spoiler if I did, I guess. Um, as for what's happening in Egypt, is so far I haven't really touched on any sort of Assassin's Creed order, so I'm guessing that this is going to be the forming of the order of the assassins.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, because at the moment, the character Bayak, who is super cool, but like he's just a cool dude. Like he's cool with everyone and nice and not in a not in an overly done way. Like you kind of just believe that he's genuinely this cool guy.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard he's a good member of his community and he helps people and he's got a wife and does
yeah,
he
and
have
it's like a
kids
happy
and
marriage,
yeah, good.
and they contribute equally to things, and that's really cool. Still waiting to see how that goes, but like at the moment, it's really cool. Um, but I'm guessing like he's yeah, that's what he is. Like he's a good member of his community. Some stuff that's terrible's happened to him, and he's kind of come back from that. And now he's helping people out and trying to get a bit of revenge, and also taking on bad people who rule things. But he's not an assassin. He just has these abilities. Like never has the word an assassin been used yet,
That's cool.
unless I've totally missed this massive plot point. Um, which is possible because I played it while streaming, and at one point I was very distracted by my stream chat, so that happens.
So he's that's cool.
The other
Right.
thing I've been doing is placement matches in Overwatch, but I've only done two. I lost one and I won one. And
Okay,
that's how that cookie
so a
crumbles.
placement match. Explain this to someone who pretend I haven't played Overwatch at all.
So when you oh, it's free week. Is it free weekend this weekend or next weekend? One of them's a free weekend. I forgot to tell you because I'm a great friend. Um, the la, la, la. So in Overwatch there is ranked mode, like a lot of games, and before you can play ranked mode, you have to do your placement matches, which are 10 games, which give you sort of your initial rank. So they're 10 games, and they sort of think, based on how you fared in these 10 games against the people you like, the other teams that you were against and whatnot, this is approximately where we think you are. Usually, the way it does it, and and Hyper's right, they're cancer. They're super salty because everyone's like mad at you because
Ah, yep.
like it's obviously not their fault that they lost. It's your fault that the team lost, even though you're the only one playing a healer, which is my experience. Um, and it usually at the end of it, it gives you your rank, and the way it's been described is that it puts you a little bit lower than where it thinks you are, so you get that sensation of climbing afterwards when you can actually play proper ranked mode. But that's all placement matches are.
Oh, okay.
Every and it's a new season at the moment, which started a couple weeks ago, and I haven't actually played. I missed last season because PC problems, and I was like, I'm going to try again this season. But
Uh,
I'm not very good at games, apparently. So
oh, you just got to
we'll
find
see.
the right character and the right team, I guess. Like, are you going in with randoms that you're matching up with?
It's usually like one or two other friends, and then the rest are randoms, which does make it hard.
I
But
always
the
play
thing
full
is,
squad whenever I
if you
can.
play a full squad with Overwatch, then you get matched against full squads,
Ah,
and sometimes they're very good. The other thing with playing a full squad is because they try to match you against other full squads if they can, is your wait times tend to be a lot longer.
okay. Lord Vlad, notice he's not wearing a cut-off shirt and it didn't put. Okay, two things. I wear sleeveless shirts that I cut the sleeves off. Right, a cut-off would be some sort of midriff revealing thing, which I'm not doing. But
Next
also,
outfit sorted for you.
that was because we were going to cut this podcast up for our good game applications. So we were going to have really witty bants and just ignore the entire chat because of you guys. And we were going to put together our best bits. But we've had such a nightmare with Lightstream that we're going to record something separately. So, I'm wearing a nice shirt because I thought this was going to ABC. I
My
also...
shirt is a really dumb joke about um Game of Thrones and Star Wars. And it says Fett is coming. And doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'd prefer
Okay, but it
feta.
goes.
If it was a cheese joke, I'd be all about it.
Oh man, yum. No, it was like one of those like grab bag shirts, pay $6 for a shirt, you know.
Ah, yep. But I've got a pretty good outfit planned because everyone loves my sleevelessness. Raptor Shadow, your shirt is the best. Whose shirt? You're gonna have to clarify because one of them's $6 and one of them's... I'm not gonna say how much I paid for this shirt.
Hiya.
Don't kowtow to him.
I'm so high right now, but not in that way. Ah! This is actually super difficult.
Look, you do have biceps. You lied to me.
I'm using my arms to hold me up on my chair.
Bodyweight exercises.
I'm glad we could sort that one out.
So I guess that pretty much wraps this guy up. I mean, we started a little bit late. Cinebay, I've got the boobs. But also, if Duba's arms aren't exposed, then there has to be some eye candy this evening.
I believe the eye candy is your hair.
Yeah, it's not bad. I went to the barber and after they finished Russell Crowing my chin, I bought a new shampoo and conditioner and it's the shit. I'm really glad I listened to him in that regard. So thank you very much for the hair compliments.
Hey, weird hair thing since you're El Hero. My hair seems to get used to shampoos and conditioners.
You gotta trick it.
It thinks they're amazing when they're new for like 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden it's like, this is shit, mate. And it goes back to being the crappy thing you see on my head.
You have good hair. It's just a bitch to colour somehow.
It's a bitch to do anything.
Fucking hair. Well, it's not a hair podcast, so...
Okay, that's very fair.
I think we're pretty much
we don't have
good.
anything else to talk about, and so we've derailed onto hair, so we should probably end the podcast.
Yes, but the good news is Hope and I are starting a hair podcast, so tune in for that whenever we get that off the ground. But apart from that, you can follow me at twitch.tv/DubaTV, which is where we are right now, so you might as well just hit that follow button if you like me and my amazing hair. Otherwise, I'm on Facebook DubaTV as well. And of course, head to Crit Damage TV for all our written content and more formal, more professional stuff. It is professional, I swear. Crit Damage is also, you've got the community, and we're also on YouTube. And where can people find you, Hope?
Hello, everybody. You can find me at most places as Muse_Shake, and that includes Twitter and Twitch, but you should just follow me on those things. You can find me on the Facebook. If you Google Muse Shake, I should come up. And also, obviously, I post things to Crit Damage. We've just started the return of 90 Seconds of Nintendo News because my stuff started working again, so that's really nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
Oh, by the way, I'm going to totally jack your style, and I'm going to do an even shorter review scheme. So...
Oh, what? They're not reviews, though. They're news.
Well, yeah. I'm going to do really, really short reviews of mobile games, and I'm going to call it Mobile Minute. And
he's just going to hold up the get. Like, he's going to be like, this game.
I've been playing Pocket Game, and it's really good. Go ahead and get it. 5 stars. Yeah. That's a minute.
So, yes. Those are the places you can find me. Let me know what you think of 90 Seconds of Nintendo News if you watch it, because I like feedback on stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But if you head over to my Facebook, that's a really good place to check me out because it's an easy place for me to post links of other stuff that I'm doing. I just had an article go up on PC Gamer, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
You did, grats.
Yeah. So, also, you should read that because I worked really hard.
Yeah. And if you can't find Hope online, you can just summon her by leaving a pumpkin spice latte out the front of your house.
It's true.
All right. Well, that's it for us, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you online and we'll see you on another episode of the CritCast. Bye.
Bye.